Hey guys, what's up? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz. So today I imagine a lot of you are being very fearful. We have seen Bitcoin drop 12.8% in the last 7 days. An important diagonal line has been crossed here, one which a lot of traders were hoping would find support. But not only that, but we're seeing similar patterns in stocks, in golds, and in bonds. So we're going to go over all of that, as well as also Bitcoin dominance, to see what this means about not just Bitcoin, but also the altcoin market. And finally, stick around until the end of the video, because I'm going to inform you about a very, very important day coming this week. I'm going to tell you why it's important and why, as a Bitcoin investor, you have to be aware of what's happening on this day and when it is. Now, for those of you who don't know, Altcoin Buzz is first and foremost a crypto investment research company, and we have been providing you numerous 100x returns since 2017. So if you want to get in on that action, join our Altcoin Buzz Access group, where we document up-to-date research covering undervalued altcoin gems, NFT minting opportunities, and our portfolio strategies. So click the link up above or down in the pinned comment section down below to take part in the action today. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our future updates. And finally, please note that none of this is financial advice. So before we get started with Bitcoin, it's important to be aware that the S&P 500, the stock market, has also been falling. Since the beginning of this year, since the 4th of January, we've seen a just over 15% dump in the stock market. So if you're investing in Bitcoin, don't think that you're the only one that's suffering. A lot of traders are suffering right now. Even gold has fallen since the 9th of March. It's been steadily falling over the past couple of weeks, a very clear downtrend. And finally, even bond prices are in free fall and have been for about 5 months, according to money.us news. You can see here on money.us news that over the past 3 months, the bonds have just been falling and falling in value. Now, here is a chart which I want to revisit. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. In other words, what percentage of the total cryptocurrency market is represented by Bitcoin? And as you can see, we haven't seen any major moves. In the past several weeks, we've been in this descending triangle, which is actually a bearish pattern. And usually in bear markets, we see Bitcoin dominance increasing significantly, and we see altcoins crashing. Now, one of the reasons for that is actually likely because we have so many stable coins in the cryptocurrency market: USDT, USDC, Terra, UST, Binance, BUSD. So all of these stable coins are, of course, representing now the altcoin market. So that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin dominance actually isn't falling so quickly as it might otherwise. That being said, as is common when Bitcoin falls, altcoins usually fall harder. Ethereum at 13.5% over the past week, and most other altcoins have dropped more than 12.8% over the past week, unfortunately. But what can we say about this Bitcoin chart? Well, the first thing to note, of course, is that we want to zoom out, right? Always look at the bigger picture. Now, interestingly, on the monthly chart, we have not yet broken the most critical level, which is the previous monthly low, which we touched in January, which was the $32,917.7 mark. We have not yet crossed that. So we are not yet in a downtrend, let alone have we broken the uptrend. We are still very much in an uptrend on the monthly chart. So the very bigger picture is looking good, but obviously we are very, very close to that level. And when we look at the lower time frames, we will see that it is indeed looking scary. Certainly on the weekly time frame, as you can see, this diagonal channel, we have one candle breaking out of it bearish, although it isn't that convincing yet that we've broken out of this diagonal channel to the downside, because we've only had one candle and it's only barely scraped through this diagonal line. That being said, we do have increasing bearish volume. We have the bearish crossover on the MACD. So certainly things are not looking good. And of course, we broke the previous weekly low. So now we are officially not in an uptrend anymore on the weekly chart. Now, when we go down to the daily chart, we can see that the next major support is this horizontal line at $28,794. We've seen many supports here in the past 1, 2, 3, 4 times that we found support at this line. So that seems to be the most likely place that we would find support next, unless, of course, we see what I have mentioned several times, a pin bar scenario where we have 1 or 2 more days below this diagonal line and then just come shooting right back up, because this is something which often happens. You have to understand the psychology of the market now is very fearful. A lot of people are selling, and this oftentimes is when the manipulators of the market, the big money players, they try and make it look like everything is going down, and then they buy. And then they bring it right back up, because of course there is a lot of fear right now. But that doesn't mean to say that that will necessarily happen. It's just a potential scenario. Certainly, currently, it is looking bearish from a technical perspective. And finally, the day that you have to be watching out for as a Bitcoin investor is, of course, Wednesday this coming week, May 11th, which is when they will release the consumer price index. In other words, telling us what the inflation is. And a lot of investors predict that March was the peak inflation and that now we will be slowing down with the inflation. But time will tell, and what happens this Wednesday, if we have higher inflation rates than we had in March, this will definitely be bad news for Bitcoin, because it means that the Fed will increase their rates, and of course this is bad news for Bitcoin. That being said, some of this fear has probably already been priced in, but certainly if the inflation has increased significantly since March, it is very likely that Bitcoin will not see a reversal anytime soon. Whereas, of course, if we have reached peak inflation, then maybe the fear for Bitcoin will be over and we will indeed start to reverse. All right, guys, that's been it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out my previous video on Polkadot. I outlined some scenarios there for how and when you could enter into that market. So feel free to check out that link up above. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next one.